The Democratic Party, I'm going to say it tonight so that you won't be confused, is the anti-Christ party. It is anti-family. And I'm going to say this, you're not going to believe it, but it is anti-black folk. You are only needed for votes. You are only loved when it's time to get your votes. There's no real care about you. And see, we still stuck, and we got that thing ingrained in us that this is the party for the black man. It is not. The party has changed.
As I've said before on this channel, there's not much difference between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. They are, in a lot of ways, two wings on the same bird. The uniparty is a real deal. But the Democratic Party is further along the slope, the slippery slope, the decline into debauchery than the Republican Party. The Republican Party still has an attachment to some semblance of values, conservative values, and biblical values. But the Democratic Party is not the party of Christians. The Democratic Party is not the party of people that want traditional American values. And the Democratic Party is not the party of black people. A lot of black people think that the Democratic Party is the party for them. It is not. A lot of the older generation remembers the party of JFK and RFK, that Democratic Party. That Democratic Party died a long time ago. This is the Democratic Party of Kamala Harris, of Elizabeth Warren, of Bernie Sanders, of Barack Obama, and AOC. This Democratic Party is all about the LGBTQ, all about transgenderism, all about radical feminism, and all about emasculating men. So black men, the Democratic Party is not for you.
So that means it is impacting the black community. What is going on, as I've told you before, is African Americans are being displaced. I said it one Sunday, and I'm going to say it again. The left, and most of you all know what I mean when I say the left politically, there's the left or the right, is displacing African Americans because they are bringing in another host of people that they need politically. And they are putting them in black communities, which is getting ready to start, as I mentioned last week, a race war between blacks who've been in those communities and the brown or migrants, Hispanics or whatever, that are coming in. They are even raising up gang members to come in and giving them weapons to take over those communities. And a lot of black citizens are upset and are worried that they are getting ready to lose their businesses, possibly even their homes, and that they are being displaced. And the left party is doing nothing to help it because it's already a designed plan.
Yes, that is intentional. On a previous video I had Chuck Schumer talking about how the Democrats want to give amnesty to all the people that came over here illegally because the birth rates in America are low. And in particular, the birth rate in the black community is low. It is a sinister plan. They are promoting death in the black community while at the same time importing people from all other countries to displace the black people. But unfortunately, because a lot of black people go to these church plant pastors, they go to these churches that are the paraministry in the black community of the Democratic Party, they are not being told this stuff. And see, those people are part of the black bougie elite. Those people think they're going to be okay regardless while they sell their people out, while they sell their people down the river. But what those folks don't understand is that Democrats will replace them once they're done displacing the common black folks. And that's the sad part, because so many people are blinded by the pulpit pimps that speak to them every week.
You are being replaced. And you are, and I say this to African American people who are trusting in a particular party that is working against your better good. Now, a lot of folk are not going to like hearing me say that, but it's the truth. Go do your investigation. Go online and look on YouTube and put down Chicago migrant crisis and look at the black people that are complaining, that are being put out of their communities, that are being hurt, don't have no peace in their neighborhoods, being jumped on and being molested by men. Because see, a lot of these countries have emptied their prisons and they are coming across our border, and this is being done by your present administration, and they have allowed 17, 18 million or more people in, and they are shipping these people or flying them out to different places, but they are giving illegals free money. And we got people out there in our communities that's working as much as they can, make $35,000 median income, as the lady said last week. And in the end, when they got to pay for taxes and they got to pay rent, which is about $1,500 or more a month, transportation, food, and everything else, they don't have much left. Whereas people who are just here from other countries are getting $4,000 and $5,000 a month from this illegal immigration migration that is coming. I am for people immigrating, but I think it ought to be legally and not a whole host of people. Listen, if you don't have a border, you don't have a country. You don't have a country, and God honors borders in the scriptures. He said he sets the boundaries of every nation. You have no border, you have no country. We got to take care of America first to make sure America is strong. And that was one of the policy areas that President Trump promoted, but of course they called him racist as a result. The Democratic Party, I'm going to say it tonight so that you won't be confused, is the anti-Christ party. It is anti-family. And I'm going to say this, you're not going to believe it, but it is anti-black folk. You are only needed for votes. You are only loved when it's time to get your votes. There's no real care about you. And see, we still stuck, and we got that thing ingrained in us that this is the party for the black man. It is not. The party has changed. Black people, really, to be honest with you, have never been the priority. They have only been used. Go back and look at the Civil Rights Act of 1964. We've all given Democrats credit for that, but Johnson was the one that wanted to pass it, but he couldn't get enough Democrat votes to pass it. It was the Republicans that pushed and passed the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Go tonight and look it up. Look at Wiki, W-I-K-I, put it in there, 1960. He couldn't even get enough Democrats to vote for it. So he had to go to Republican senators in order to help him out. They are anti-life. The party pushes stuff that's anti-life. It pushes anti-morality because most of their policies are immoral, that pushes sexual perversion. It is the party of death. Why do you say that, Pastor? If you go back, you'll see slavery started with the Democratic Party. And we saw many slaves that died. We also saw under Jim Crow. Jim Crow was established by Democrats. And we saw under Jim Crow how many were hung and lynched. And then we are seeing today how many babies. African American people are giving up their future because they won't have, in another 15, 20 years, they won't have enough people because they have cut their birth rates off and have aborted their children. This is exactly what the party wants. So it is a party of death when it comes down to it. It's a party that is against black families. Look at the history of the family. From slavery, which were Democrat plantation owners, in slavery, they separated our families. They would not even acknowledge the marriages of black families. They would even take a black man over here who called himself being married to a woman, but if he was a big, strong guy, they took him and made him mate with another woman. That's one of the reasons our marriages and our families have not been strong, because the spirit of that has passed down generationally. Destroy our families And people don't see it because they don't understand truth.
And that is the truth. The Democratic Party has always been about the elimination of black people. Whether it was slavery, whether it's Jim Crow, whether it's abortion, and now it's the displacement of black people through illegal immigration. They've always been about the elimination of black people, and they've used church plant pastors to do it. Church plant pastors who co-signed with Margaret Sanger to help usher in this whole abortion deal and birth control and all those things. Yes, the church plant pastors have been walking hand in hand with the Democratic Party to sabotage the black community. That's why it is the party against black people, especially black men. It wants to emasculate and has emasculated black men, and it's definitely against Christians. It's definitely against the word of God, because anyone that pushes a death agenda is against God. God is for life, because he came to give us life and life more abundantly. The Democratic Party has constantly desired to make all black people victims. That's why they have destroyed the black family. That's why they indoctrinate black children in these public indoctrination centers called public schools. It's incumbent upon us who have the truth to speak the truth in love, to tell people, no, you're not a victim. We're not victims. We are empowered for greatness.